Sure. Well,
There it is.
yeah.
Red light.
All right, if everybody please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance. Okay, welcome everyone to the January Feels Like City Council meeting. Appreciate you all being here. At this time, we'd like to invite public comment. This period of public comment is limited to 5 minutes, and it is limited to agenda items only. So if you're addressing something that's on the agenda, you may comment on it at this time. So, is there anybody wishing to comment on agenda items? Yes, Mr. Beck, please come to the podium.
Generically, is that all right? Seems to be on the agenda.
Where it is.
Oh, where it says, approval of land use hearing minutes. Is that online? I can wait, doesn't matter.
If you don't mind, that'd be best.
Wait,
Yes.
Yes.
Please. Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Yes, sir.
just a question.
Okay, good. Maybe your name and number.
Dog number. I live in Hermiston, but I'm an old Echoite. But the question I have is I've heard that they're thinking about building a school on the football grounds and moving the football field. I've heard that. I don't know if that's on the agenda or not.
No, it's not, and that would be a school issue, a school board meeting issue.
Okay, well, okay, because I was told years ago that, see, my family donated the land for the school to use as a football field. And,
Sorry to cut you off, but
And,
it's not an agenda item, so I've got to stay consistent. If you'll stay after the meeting, then let's Dave and I talk to you, if you don't mind.
no, that's fine.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Joan Sonnenberg, 8 Smith Drive, Echo. My question, well, and it's agenda item number 15. As I was reading the audit report today, the city administrator put a lot of notes into how we don't have enough staff to do everything, and there was some potential opportunity for discrepancy. Are we going to hear how the staff is going to be realigned to diminish these risks?
We could talk about it.
Okay, I just think that that's going to be really important as we look at that audit report, what the plan is. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Yes.
Come down around, it's making to the recordings and everything. Okay.
Yeah, these microphones, you really have to speak kind of directly into them. They don't like to do it on the side. Okay, anyone else? Yes.
Good evening. My name is Vicente Escalante. I live at 310 North Wilson Street. I'd like to talk about section 14 or item 14 on the agenda for approval immediate opportunity fund grant. I went through the grant myself over the weekend and this morning, and I saw that the project is costing about $6 million. And as a resident, I just wanted to make sure that the council isn't putting the city, putting us in a liability that we'll have to come up for, for that cost that, we won't be liable for this project. So that's my only comment for that. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you, Vicente. Bless you. Okay, anybody else? Okay, then we'll move on now to Tammy.
To announce that I have potential conflict of interest by home and properties on Echo and business JMBB LLC. I also am a member of the following LLC: Desert Springs Bottled Water, BWTW, Oregon Shore Honey Farm, Stay Hydrated, and Sound Trees. I also have business relatives in the city and surrounding areas.
Tammy? Okay, so next item on the agenda is council work session minutes from December 4th. Any discussion, changes, additions to those minutes? Okay, very good. So Maria made a motion to approve the council work session minutes from December 4th. Jeannie seconded. Maria, your vote?
Yes.
Janie, your vote?
Yes.
Tammy, your vote?
Yes.
Berlin?
Yes.
Richard? Okay, motion carries. Now we're on to the approval of the council minutes from December 9th.
Motion to accept the minutes. December 9th. I second.
Okay, Janie made a motion to approve the council minutes from December 9th. Maria seconded. So Richard, your vote? Berlin, your vote?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Janie?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Motion carries. Now we're on to approval of the land use hearing minutes from December 11th.
I just had one, edit, it said that Jesse wasn't here, but then when people were discussing their conflicts, it said Jesse said she had no conflict, and I think you meant Maria,
Okay, I'll fix that.
and I wasn't here, so I'm not.
And I need to add a note to that. At this point, okay? I would like to add a note to the attached to the minutes, that when asked if I had a conflict of interest regarding the land use hearing agenda, I stated that I did not have a conflict of interest. I wasn't aware at that moment that the administrator was going to suggest changing the zoning of the working Echo Historical Cemetery to residential. Since I serve on both the Echo Cemetery Board as well as City Council, I am compelled to change my statement to read that I may have a potential conflict of interest, because both positions are 100% non-gratuitous and are public entities funded by taxes and fees. I am committed to public interest in both of these positions, do not believe in placing private interest over public Due to my dual status, I will not participate in particular discussion of the proposed change of rezoning the Echo Cemetery to residential. I am, however, prepared to exercise my duty as a representative of Echo's taxpayers by casting my vote on proposed zoning changes based on the merits of the evidence and the amount of public interest with complete integrity and impartiality.
Perfect, and I'll add that to tonight's minutes. Can't go back and undo last minute, but can I have that?
Yeah.
At the end of the meeting, and I will add that to tonight's minutes, as it won't go on this vote for the other one. Perfect, perfect. That's a good spot for it, and I will do that. Thank you for that, Jamie. That's a good point, and it's a very good point of reference.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that up.
It's a good catch, Jamie.
Still have the 11th hearing.
Yeah, save that for the next year. Yes.
So I don't
Okay,
have
so
to.
any other discussion or changes to the land use hearing minutes from December 11th? Currently, we have Berlin's correction.
I can make a motion to approve the land use hearing minutes from December 11th with the amendment.
Okay, so Berlin made a motion to approve the land use hearing minutes of December 11th as amended. Richard seconded. Tammy, your vote.
Yes.
Berlin, your vote.
Yes.
Janie, your vote.
Yes.
Richard? Maria?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Now we're on to. Okay, now we're on to the council regular council meeting minutes from December 22nd.
Yeah, it was, I'll make a, motion to approve the council minutes from December 22nd.
I'll second it.
Okay, Berlin made a motion to approve the council minutes from December 22nd. Maria seconded. Jamie, your vote. Tammy, your vote.
Yeah.
Richard, your vote. Berlin.
Yes.
Maria, your vote.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, now we're on to police report. Chief Zumwalt, welcome.
Any questions?
Mr. Creativity. I don't have. See, I got this. Anything else for the chief? Thanks, Brad. All right, Scott, you're up, Public Works.
Submitted in writing, but one thing was brought up on, the traffic, we were doing the traffic around the school. We haven't done anything with it yet. But I got quotes coming in to get the lights, the thermal plastic for the, crosswalks, but I just wanted to get another, approval that we're approved to go ahead and do that. And also, I've got to get with Freeman Smith, because the school said they were going to supply some barriers.
And some money potentially.
Some other state works, so, I'm working on that, so we did receive the grant they got from the county,
Mhm.
believe it was about 9,000, so, we'll be getting stuff, equipment ordered, if that's still possible.
But I think if I remember right, I have to go back through the minutes or the recording. I don't think we've made an official vote to approve the committee's recommendation.
So that's what I have to say.
Does anybody else remember us having an actual vote on that? I thought we were waiting to see on what Raymond was gonna come up with, because we don't have a dollar number.
Right?
Right, for the school.
I think that's what I remember too.
So I think once we hear from the school board, because I think he had to take that to the school board to get their approval, then we'll know what the city has to come in with, and then we'll have a clear plan of what both entities are doing.
Okay, cause I know we have the 9,000. Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so we have that, and I believe that's gonna cover a lot of the equipment to.
The signage and lights, you
I
mean?
believe so.
Oh, that'd be good.
I gotta get the prices coming back, but what I've looked at, but the school said they would kick in money too, so we can.
They did. He said he would get those eco blocks. too.
Yeah, that's good, that's cheap, but it'd be nice to kick in and we could do some, maybe a few other things with it.
Yeah,
Those flashing lights, the programmable, they're gonna be fairly expensive, but I shall get with Raymond and see what they come up with.
because they should have some sort of answer by now.
Yeah, cause this was back in September.
Yeah, we were gonna take it.
So we do that, and next month we can bring, hopefully we can bring all this together and give you direction. Okay, cool. We'll see. Or does that sound good? Yep. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that.
I have a question for Scott.
Yes.
I was wondering, is there a possibility to have, do something with the alley between the street of Delson and Prescott? I think it runs from Willow all the way, well, it has a lot of holes and uneven, really bad. I don't know if
Whatever the council wants.
somebody said that you can do like a grading it or just at least to level it.
So Maria brought this up at a different meeting, off topic type thing, so we asked her to bring it up to you. It looks like the city's responsible for the alleyway road portion of it, I guess. Yeah, and so sounds like that's pretty rough. So could we bring in, grade it somehow, or bring in gravel and fill the holes, or I don't know what.
I'll take a look at it.
I'm not an expert in that.
I did. But we will definitely look at it, see about smoothing it out.
Does that answer your question? Maria?
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
The next question comes
On the, that would be fine, yes.
I just wanted to know if we got the additional lights for the street, if that had been okay yet.
I haven't gotten anything from PPNL that we were gonna see if we can get one light put there by the crosswalk on that pole. I haven't gotten anything back.
Okay, anything else for Scott? Thank you, Maria, for not forgetting that, because I had spaced that off, that you mentioned that, so good job. Okay, thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Okay, and then now we're on to golf course.
Can't hear.
It was a great month yet again. We were up 53% last year, with an increase of 23,704. So, can't do anything about this wonderful weather, and so I'm just gonna soak it up all we can. We did have an ugly Christmas sweater tournament on the 6th. We didn't have any participants, but we raised $480 for the Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund, through a small raffle and dinner. Because last Sunday we had our par 3 tournament. We had a total of 25 people play, 20 members, 5 non-members. Sold some mulligans and had about $930 in greens fees, which is amazing for a Sunday. Membership renewal is around the corner. The fees remain the same for this next year coming up. doing membership drive. Any new member will play for free, now until when the membership year begins, which is March 1st. Renewing members save 5% through January 31st on their membership. Doesn't include cart sheddings or trail fees. Then, as of right now, I'm closed Mondays and Tuesdays in the clubhouse. But I'm going to work with people if they want to come in as the weather is so good. So that might change going forward, just depending on, what people want. So here,
Good job. Yeah, the weather's helping you out a lot.
absolutely, I'll take it.
Almost so warm you're gonna mow.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so moving on to committees. Nothing from the art committee, anything from the trail committee? Nothing from the trail committee. Okay, so now no old business and no new business. So, city administrator position interviews. In our executive session, we have a list of names. Would you like me to read those off, Dave?
No.
Okay.
Just read off, just tell me when you want to set it up.
Pull out your calendar. City Hall's probably closed on Monday.
Mhm.
So I would suggest, Monday probably works for a lot of the applicants because they're not working that day. I don't know.
It doesn't affect me at all, it affects staff, people that are on the interview panels, so.
Right. So
It's
I
up
would
to you
suggest either the 19th or the 20th. Unless you want to do it on a weekend, which I doubt.
No, I don't think any of your directors will show up.
It's fine.
It might be better
Whatever
for
works
staff.
best. I just throw the two out there because. Richard, what do you think about that? Monday, Tuesday, do you care? Perfect. There you go.
What time would time would we be doing the interview?
So we probably want to start earlier in the morning since we potentially have 5. If they all accept an interview. So, you're gonna be at least an hour each, so.
Do you want to do it the same way we did it last time, an hour? Was an hour and 2 half-an-hour intervals, or do you just want to do an hour and do a half hour with staff? What do you want to do? Last time it was 2-hour intervals for each candidate, was how you had me set it up, or how we set it up.
Yeah. We need at least an hour, obviously, because each one really took that, just about that whole hour. The other hours up to you guys. I would leave that up to you, Dave, and staff as far as.
I'm not interviewing, I just answer questions that these guys are the interviewees, interviewing.
Right, so I would leave that other portion up to them. For us, we could just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then
Okay.
you guys could just, they could just.
I'll work with staff to get that part worked out, as long as I know it's an hour for you guys, then that can make the rest work. If that's okay with the council.
Would until I have an appointment at 9:20, 9 to 10,
Till about 10.
yeah, around there.
So how soon could you make it back into town?
As soon as I get back, it's in Hermiston.
Okay, so about 10:15 probably-ish,
Yeah.
10:30. Anybody else have anything Tuesday that? My wife didn't put anything on my calendar either, so. Tuesday, so I guess Tuesday is around here. Perfect, sounds good. And what time is your cash?
on Monday.
Oh, Monday, okay, good, so we don't have to. She has a 10, so we don't want to start any sooner than 10:30.
Okay. That's fine.
Interviews,
That works.
so 10:30 or 11.
10:30. That'll work. I get you guys done in the middle of the afternoon if you have 5. So. Well, yes.
Well, let's see.
I'll let you know during 10:30 and 11, depends on how it works out. So I'm gonna put 10:30 here, but if I can't make it mathematically work for everybody to do, that'd be 11. So I'm gonna try to do 10:30 to get you, bring it back for you guys to get everybody out of here at a reasonable time.
Well, it
10:30,
should
11,
probably take like a half an hour to somewhere.
Yep.
Like around 1-ish.
and that might work out really good, but be starting at 30.
Yeah,
Will that be enough time for you, Maria?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Will do. We'll
okay,
get it scheduled. I'll work with the directors and Ameta, and we'll figure it out on our end.
okay, anything else on that? Now we're moving on to the IOF grant. For Northgate. So there was a question from, Vicente, who's been doing his research and very good for him. And Dave, I'll let you kind of explain the grant, how it works. And because these things do get kind of complicated, you've gone through almost the identical types of grants before for the city. So it's really not anything new, but the entities, this I guess is new or not?
No, that's not
No,
it.
it's not, no, okay.
So
So.
the only different is the partner. It's a different partner.
Different partner. So I'll let you take the lead on that and we'll answer Vicente's question in the process.
Yes, and I had a couple other people with similar concerns because the $6 million seems to scare folks, so I want to kind of work through that a little bit. First off, the Immediate Opportunity Fund grant, I mean, Scott and I have been doing this business a long time, and neither one of us knew that it existed. Neither one of us went after it. Business Oregon, part of the One Stop that Scott and I are familiar with, came to us and said, hey, we want to, Business Oregon, part of its mission is to help, where it can with businesses and communities, and they've helped us. We've processed, $8 million for them so far for the water and sewer projects. So they're very familiar with us and we have a good relationship. And so they came to us with this, hey, there's some money available for paving and paving type projects. And so they're affiliated with new industrial parks, new commercial zones. And so they have, and that's what this Intermediate Opportunity Fund specifically centers around, is those types of projects. And so ODOT sets aside some money every year. Well, I didn't know they set aside this money, but it's the same exact program verbatim as the small city allotment program that you guys are very familiar with. So every year or every biennium, they have $5 million that they bring out, and then the cities apply for, small cities under 5,000 apply for grants. The first 8 pages of this is that exact grant. That's the exact same language. There's nothing different. I mean, it's word for word what it is, the same with the exception of what the project is. That's the difference, is what the project is. So when Mr. DeGroff came to us from Business Oregon and talked to us about, both Kent, Scott, and I, about different opportunities they have to help offset for new projects, and then Northgate is a new project. So
Dave, can I interrupt you for 1 second? Sorry, the purpose of them giving this money out to help with paving and infrastructure type things is to promote economic development. Is that correct?
that's correct. I was going to get to that. Thank you. So, so in economic, okay, so we'll just jump ahead. So economic development. So there are programs that are privately funded and that they will come in and they will match. And so one of the things that they did do in this particular situation is they went to K&L and they go, well, how much money are you going to spend on this first phase of the project? Well, it's $6 million and some change is what they have budgeted for the first round of their phase up there, which first round is infrastructure, water, sewer, power, streets. storm drain, sidewalks. Okay. The thing about this money is very specific to entity streets. So it can't be spent on Thielsen. So Highway 320 that goes up through the project through town were the connecting streets. So Madison, Brassfield, all those streets that are gonna connect to Thielsen, this money can only be spent on that. So outside the right of way into the city streets, that will be city streets, are be granted, that's where this money gets spent. And so it gets only spent on city streets on this project in the development. And it has a very, very specific criteria that it can be used on for engineering projects and then for it, engineering and project review, project management, and then also paving, stormwater, sidewalks, all the prep work for that type of stuff. That's all you can use it for. Can't use it for sewer water, can't use it for anything else, and it has to be used on the streets. It's not gonna go very far. It's in $700,000 to all of us in this room is a significant chunk of change, but when you're talking about paving and doing ADA sidewalks, which this grant will require you to do ADA sidewalks to ODOT standards. So right out here in George Park is a perfect example of this grant in a different format. Right out here where the bus stop is. Some people like this and some people don't, and I don't blame those that don't. But that sidewalk was granted with ODOT dollars out of one of these grants, one of the small city grants, which is the same language, different grant. That ODOT had to come out and inspect that and make us put that bump out there, those bump outs out there and those ADA ramps and do all that to their specifications. So in this grant, what will happen is that when they get that far down the road, we're talking, it's about a good year down the road before they even get, maybe a year and a half, 2 years down the road before they ever get to need to be able to be eligible for us to even spend that money up there because it's all dirt and not developed yet. So they will come to us and say, we're getting close, and Scott will be on top of all of that, and along with Ederson and Perry and other engineers as they're doing the project up there. And when they get close to that point, then they will specified in here where they can use the money and what it's for. So then they'll go out to bid. They have to go out to bid for paving. I know that Northgate is planning on going out for bid for specific things. They're gonna do a lot of internal work themselves, but all the paving and ADA sidewalks, they don't want to touch any of that. And so they're gonna be putting that all out to bid. And since we got this grant, they don't have a choice. They have to go out to bid. And through this bid process, which we're all very familiar with internally to follow, ODOT manages these grants pretty tight. So we are the pass-through entity. So the money will come through Echo and then when it leaves Echo, City of Echo's bank account, it goes to the awarded contractor after it's been approved, after their project's been approved, after that work has been done, it's been submitted, it's been inspected by ODOT, it's been inspected by Scott, it's been inspected by the engineers. Then when all those boxes are checked, then those checks are cut. This isn't money for the developer to put in his pocket. This isn't money for the city. The city is not on the hook for anything. The city is not going to be, nobody's going to come after the city. There's no money, there's no amount of it. This is a development that we're giving some money to through a third agent, through another agency to help offset some costs. Is basically an incentive. It's an incentive for an industrial park, is what this is really for. That's all this money is for. It can't be used for anything else. And these guys are pretty specific about how you do this. And I've done many of these with the small allotment grants. So it's very specific. And you work with their project people at ODOT, and then we work with AP, and then now we have a third party. We have Northgate's engineer who has to give us the plans, the final plans, which we've seen most of. And they go through AP, all of which Northgate pays for. City doesn't pay for any of this. There is no out cost to the city, $0. So the only benefit to this is it's a good partnership because we're able to help a developer through another agency get some funding to help finish up the project, basically put asphalt on the ground and put some concrete on the ground for sidewalks for a project. Again, $500,000 will not go very far. I mean, if you add up all the bump outs that are going to be required, all the ADA sidewalk requirements that are going to be required on those side streets per our public works standards, they're going to run out of the $500,000 pretty quick. But it is a nice thing, that nice gesture that Business Oregon and ODOT are willing to come to us to make this opportunity out there. So that's really what the grant is in a nutshell. It's identical to what you guys have seen in the past. I know that I had a phone call yesterday, a concerned citizen was like, well, what are we taking out a $6 million loan for a $500,000 grant? We're not. We're not taking out any money. We actually receive money. And on these projects, you can take up to, the city, in this case, can take up to 50%. So we can upfront, and then the other 50% can't be dispersed from ODOT until after the project is done. So how that works is the city can put that in its coffers, sits in its bank account, sits there, can't be expended until submittals come in and are approved submittals from the contractor. So I don't see this happening for a while, to be honest with you.
So it's a $500,000 grant.
Yep.
The city is used as a pass-through, like we were for, in conjunction with the county for the river. Because we got money. from
County and the state, most of the state,
We got money from the state. Pass through that,
sewer, water,
lots of different.
small, yeah, lots
And
of,
that's how these things are done, is they use municipalities as a pass-through, so that they would think, so that we make sure that all this stuff is done to state standards and our city standards.
and since these are
And
city
then once
streets,
those are
yeah,
all met, then we are told by Business Oregon or the state or ODOT, or whatever, to release that money.
correct.
Because they don't want to be.
They won't release the money until they actually physically come out and inspect it. They actually send inspectors out.
So that's all we do is hold it in our bank account until we're.
The first half we do, the other half we do is pass through.
Right. So we could put $250,000 in our bank account,
Mhm.
which Dave is very good at gaining interest on things, and let it sit there until a contractor gets work done up there, which.
Well,
could
so the
be-
contractor's awarded and
So they're
then
awarded.
the work is done.
And the
There's
work
no
is-
money that we
correct.
go out to.
But that could be 1, 2, 3 years that money sits there and gains interest, and we don't have to pay that interest back. We get to keep that interest.
So we do pay back the 250 if we don't use the grant. So then we just go back. So
And we go
that's,
back
and
to
that's
that,
the
but we're-
same thing with any of these projects.
So we're out $0.
Correct.
250 in, and potentially 250 out.
Mhm.
One way or another, either the contractor gets the work done or they don't get the work done.
Correct.
And in the meantime, we gain 4% interest on that money.
Yeah, that's one way, that's a
And
way.
the
to
interest
try to
we
utilize-
can use for anything.
Correct, it goes in the general fund. And that's, I put that in the budget every year. That's how we do get a lot of our interest off these projects like that. But there is no risk to the city. It's a little bit of extra work, yeah, but it's just a grant. It's not that much work really, and it's the same exact amount of work here as it was for the small. In fact, it's actually less because we don't have to have our engineers come and do the work. We just have to inspect. So I don't think we have to do any of that because we're not doing the engineering.
Right. And you
So
can
the small
expect
city
that
allotments, we have to do the engineering. So
you can
we're
expect that
spending
you
money
can
on
use the
that.
city street.
Tammy, I see your questions.
That was reading this, the other grant was through the state, but this is a private contractor we're dealing with. And if we have any hiccups during this, the only one signing for it is the city. And we would be responsible for the 6 million, it says.
No. The 6 million belongs to, we don't have a 6 million. The 6 million is the matching funds. That money sits there. I know what it says, Tammy. I've read it 10 times, and they wrote it. But at the end of the day, they wouldn't give the city the 500,000 if Northgate wasn't matching it with the 6 million. We're not on the hook for the 6 million.
We don't see any information that shows we aren't on the hook, so I didn't even know that so you told us that you just did that the developer was TOK, because all I see is that.
TLK, you mean KNL?
Yeah, KNL, they were signing this, and when I read it, it says that we're the agency,
We are.
and so they are coming through us, but I didn't see any kind of agreement with them that they were gonna put forth that money, and I just.
So they don't get, the money doesn't go out unless the project is done. So Tammy, so there'll be $3 or $4 or $5 million will already be spent before this money ever even starts because they have to build everything. So we're not doing anything. if nothing happens up there, nothing happens here. This just goes away.
But it doesn't kind of read like this. It reads that we are responsible for the 6 million and we would have to pay it back if anything fell through. So I just was hoping.
The 500,000, we'd have to, the 500,000, not the 6
So
million.
I think it's a great deal, but I would like to see some kind of bond agreement that if something happened, we did get paid back for the 6 million and see the agreement with the developer.
We don't.
Well, I talked to ODOT today and they still don't, I told them exactly what you're saying, because that's what the person said on the phone to me yesterday. And they just said, I don't know what they're talking about. The 6 million is private money. It's not state money, city money. We're the agency responsible for the 500,000.
Then why is this contract that you're signing is as no contractor in here, it's just.
Because there hasn't been a contract awarded, Tammy.
It's money.
Tammy, the contractor has not been awarded yet, so there has to go out to bid. When they get bid, they have to be bonded. They have to go through all the state process, so nothing has happened. So once it goes out to bid and you get 3 or 10 or 12 bidders or whatever it ends up being, and whoever ends up being the awarded bid per the language in this contract, then they have to bond, they have to do all that process, and they have to show us all that, they have to give us all the bonding and all that before they can start. It says right in there, they have to do that. So we're not doing, there's no money moving, there's nothing happening until they get ready to pave. And I'd be surprised if we see paving up there in 2 years, so a year and a half.
Well, I think it's great to develop, but I just think that this contract is written so that it's saying that we are responsible for.
No, we're
We're
not.
responsible for the 500, we're responsible for
500,000.
So once they give that to the city,
Then we're responsible for
we're
that.
responsible.
That's why we want to follow their rules, so then we don't have to be responsible.
But they won't award that 500,000 to the contractor, whoever the contractor may be. It won't be K&L Madison because they're not going to do their own work. It could be Silver Creek, it could be Apollo, who knows, all the contractors out there, right? But that'll be between K&L Madison and they'll award that to whoever. And then the state, then they'll go and do all the work, spend their $5.5 million.
That worked.
And then at the end of it, it'll come out and everybody will inspect it. Scott will sign off on it, the state will sign off on it, whoever else needs to sign off will sign, the Pope will come down and bless it. And then they'll tell us that we can release that money to the contractor.
Right.
That-
We're not
None
on-
of this money goes anywhere until all this work is done.
Exactly.
And the private entity has to pay for it. So the only thing we're on the hook for is the money they give us that we put in the bank and we hold.
6 million is private.
And if the project doesn't get done as per the contract, then we are on the hook to send that money back. So we can't spend it or.
Total estimated project cost.
Yep.
Is $6 million.
Yeah, that's what Northgate, yeah.
$25,705. In accordance with the terms and conditions of this agreement.
Yep.
ODOT shall provide agency funds in a total amount not to exceed 500,000. Agency will be responsible for all project costs not covered by the funds. And all project
That's correct.
costs is 6 million.
That's
So, and we're the agency. The
correct,
city
but we are,
is-
we are the agency, but we're responsible. We can't release these funds if they don't do their project up there. So they have to spend the money to do that up there. So I didn't write this. This is how they wrote it and they worked this out with K&L and ODOT. I had nothing to do with this.
How many cities a year do they do this to? It's several cities, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it turns out there's a lot more of these that they do than I knew about, so.
Well,
And this is the first time this has ever come up, so.
if it was, 500,000 only that we were responsible for.
But we're not responsible for the 6 million, Tammy. I could argue with you all day, so.
Say that we will be responsible for all project.
So what do you want me to do, Tammy? You want me to tell them to drop the 500,000? Because we cannot be responsible for the $6 million. We're not responsible for $6 million. We never will. It's not our money.
And that was the only thing I was concerned about was that if it was 500,000, we have 500,000
I give
cash
up.
out.
What do you want me to do? I give up. What do you want me to do?
Well, I still like to have, like, if we have a bond in place that they would. that-
There's no way I can put a bond in place. Nobody will bond anything because nothing's happened. No one happens when the project goes out.
We don't have 6 million as a city, and we have.
Okay, I give up. I said I give up.
I think you're getting confused by the legalese.
Is that not what it says?
That's not the intent of that. If you read the entire contract, it explains all of
I did read all of it, and I guess maybe.
So what do you want me to do? I'm gonna tell Kent that he needs to write a check for $6 million to the city? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. It's a private project. I'm lost. We're not responsible for the $6 million. I don't know how else to put it to you. Okay,
So
I disagree with you 1,000%, and so does ODOT since they wrote this, but I can call ODOT tomorrow and tell them that you don't want to approve it because you're saying that we're responsible for the $6 million. I already asked them this question because I knew you were gonna ask this question, and they said, no, we're not. So they're only doing the 500,000. So you're.
You have to talk to the ODOT person, so they explain it to me too, and their attorney or their lawyer, so they explain
It's
it.
not attorneys and lawyers, it's a project manager. There's DOJ's, our Department of Justice has already approved this.
Here, but it's just that, I mean, I think it's great, but we don't have the 6 million to cover this whole thing.
We're not doing 6 million. I can tell you. It's
But you are using some signing for this, and we're going to have to go for the whole.
No, 500,000. Project cost, the project that they're funding is 500,000. They're not funding the 6 million. The 6 million was the funding that inspired them to do the 500,000. That's what they chose. Anything that's $3 to $6 or $8 million gets 500,000. It's like 10 million or more gets $1 million. That's how their grant process works for these type of IOF grants. You can go online, go look at the IOF process. That's how they break it down. The rest of the money is incidental. It's not us.
Read some contract and we don't have 6 million. And a lot of towns probably do it, but there may be bigger towns than we are that have the cash flow to cover this. If we did, I'd be
Okay,
great.
so I'll just tell, it's not up to me.
No,
I give up.
it's up to the council. Right? It is confusing because it is,
No, I think
It is
you
a lot.
could explain it a little bit. You could have, maybe, we could have an attorney come explain to us why we don't have, the developer on here to be responsible, say that he would be responsible for that money.
we don't
Or we
have
have
a
a bond. Well, when that's a lot of money, we wouldn't. that's a lot
Tammy,
of
at some
money.
point, you have to trust ODOT and you have to trust our city administrator, as they've ever steered us wrong. And when you read this, and you look at, and you talk to other cities, that it's not 6 million. I think it is not. You're mixing
So why did
it
they
up.
put that in there?
Because what they do is they put it in there that it's an estimated project cost. Okay? The estimated project cost is that, let's say in 2 years, when Kent goes to award this contract, it becomes $7 million. They're still gonna give him the 500,000.
Not
But
yet, the
he's-
city.
They're gonna give the city,
They don't give him
they're
any.
gonna give the city the money, and then it's gonna go to his contract. Okay, that's still gonna be in place. That's an estimated project cost. They know things go up. So they're gonna put in there that if the project, they're putting that in there saying they're not responsible. And they're not gonna give you any more money.
No,
If the cost goes to 7, no, it's not, it's not us.
If we could maybe have a work session on this,
No.
so that,
No.
so that
No,
we
we've
can
had
have a
enough
work
work
session.
sessions. Does anybody else, okay, let's let some other people talk. Richard, what are your thoughts on
I'd
this?
make a motion that we approve the application for the immediate opportunity fund grant.
Thanks. Then,
I'll second.
okay, so we have a motion and a second. Richard has made a motion to approve the immediate opportunity fund grant. Berlin has seconded. Richard, your vote?
Yes.
Berlin, your vote?
Yes.
Tammy, your vote?
No,
Maria, your vote?
Yes.
Janie, your vote? The votes are 3-5, 3-2, the motion carries. Okay, moving on to the audit reports. So
closure, we thank the auditor. Outstanding job. Not that I know anything about audits, but, there were a lot of numbers and a lot of statements and.
She's been a lot of.
Really good to me.
From what I've seen from her, she's very thorough. And, does a good job of keeping data in mind.
But Joe had a good question.
Yes, she
So,
did.
And I would like to address that. And then any other questions that the council has about the audit. The audit came out as exactly as it has been for a while. Minus the fact that we're down to 2, check marks versus 3. So Joan brought up a good point. And so one of the things when I first got here, to give a little pretense to a word for that, Joan, is that when I got here, there was a lot of transition stuff that had to happen, new general ledger, new everything. So pre me being here, the city administrator did all accounts payables, the only thing that the city administrator didn't do as far as the finances was concerned was full on receivables as far as the utilities were concerned. But as far as the rest of the receivables and all the payables and all the payroll and all of the other, and the general ledger, all that was 100% the administrator. So the city would get dinged for 3 things versus 4 out of the GASB for accounting system how they do the GASB accounting, because we do cash accounting versus accrual. So that kind of lays out the whole foundation for that. And so what happened is once we got going, over the last few years, we have refined down to just the 2, and we won't ever get away from the 2 because we do not have enough staff. So what we've done done to mitigate it, as she puts it if you read in some of her comments in the audit, she talks about it, she talks with me about it too, every year we talk about it, is that we spread out the wealth. We have the clerk now with the reclassification, the assistant does almost all the accounts payable. Rarely do I touch the accounts payable other than to review and be one of the signers. She is now learning and doing some payroll and learning some of those things in the general ledger. So we continue to morph that more and more. So more than one person has eyes on it to catch mistakes, which is kind of nice to do. And then the other thing that we do is we have the financials come to the council. So that was something that was done before, but what I've added to that is a AP, accounts payable, accounts receivable report that comes to them, accounts payable. So all payroll, all accounts payable is attached to the bank statements that they read. So if there's several of the council members are not check signers, but yet all of them have a chance to see everything that's been spent and what the totals in the bank account, the interest that are made, the checking, what's in and out checking, all the canceled checks. They're all right there for everybody to read every month. And so those are things that we've added to kind of mitigate this. And then, so the letter is required by the state of Oregon. If you have any deficiencies at all, you have to send them a letter. So this letter is, without a better thing, it's kind of a rinse and repeat because it's the exact same 2 things that we always get dinged on, and we always try to find more efficient ways to do that. And I would imagine that with a new person coming in, if they have a good financial background, they'll see something that none of us saw and change it again. But at the end of the day, if you don't have more bodies, you still are going to get a deficiency. So the ideal thing under GASB is they want somebody to just be payroll. That's all they do. They want somebody, human being, to just be general ledger. They want another body just to be accounts receivable and another body to do accounts payable. So basically 4 bodies to do that. And so if you don't have that ability to do that or contract it out to a third party, which is pretty expensive, then you're left with these 2 deficiencies. And then you constantly have to go through and review and check your policies. And then when she comes in and audits, she does a pretty good colonoscopy on every aspect of it and comes back through. And I always have journal entries to do. I always look for those because, in fact, sometimes I even send her pre-stuff saying, hey, I can't figure this out. What did I screw up? And she'll say I didn't screw it up, or she'll say, oh, you put this in the wrong category. Oh, okay, that's why I couldn't figure it out. Another set of eyes. It's really nice. And so she doesn't have to do that. She doesn't charge us for that. And so I think that the city's pretty fortunate to have such a caring auditor, and she's been coming to Echo for many years, long before I ever came. And so she's very familiar with how the system works, and she continuously gives us good ideas. And she worked with Tanya this year. We put the point of sale system in, and there was a problem that Tanya and I couldn't figure out with the fees. We were missing the fees off the point of sale system because it would pull it out and then put the rest of the money in the bank, and it wasn't matching up to what her sales were. That's because they were pulling their fees out. And so we had a discrepancy, and they came up with the process now, with the spreadsheet process, that it's nullified that we don't have that anymore. And it makes doing the reconciliation each month so much easier. I have to sit there and pull my hair out. And so that was the blessing. So that's the kind of stuff that we do. It's always morphing, it's always changing, it's never perfect, and it's always gonna be kind of a fluid thing. It has to be, because it's money, it's not our money, it's the taxpayers' money, and you have to be really careful with how you do it. And when you find your errors, you own up to it. So I don't know if that answers all of your questions, Joan, but when you brought that up, it's like, oh yeah, that's exactly what we need to talk about. So thank you for that. Questions? So yeah, she was pretty good this year. We do have another, just so you guys know, there is the ARPA money, as you well know, if you recall, that over the last 6 years to 5 years, the ARPA money is a royal pain in the maneuvers, and it has a whole separate reporting process. And I've been doing most of the reporting. However, there's an audit thing that Business Oregon was doing, but apparently since we closed up the sewer project and we're on the other end of the water project, now there's another reporting thing that the auditors are catching. So to make sure, because at end of 2026, the end of this year, but not the end of halfway through your next fiscal year, ARPA goes away permanently federally. It doesn't exist. So any funds not expended by Business Oregon to Echo go away. And so that's why there's a timeline for September, I think, or September for those projects to be done for phase 3. So there is a review. She's working on that. She and I were going back and forth on the reporting because I go into the treasury and do the reporting. Do you remember when we got the 156,000 way back in 21? That was the direct money from ARPA for the city. There was a reporting portal that you go in that we had to go in and report that money. And then you guys expended it on the HVAC system and other things that were allowable expenses. Well, that portal is still open, and there hasn't been any reporting because we haven't been spending any of that money, because Business Oregon received the money and the money comes here, so that it's considered state money. Now they want to have some kind of reconciliation. So there'll be another report. It won't be this report, it'll be an addendum. So you'll probably see that in February or March. She's working on that right now. It was something that we both thought we didn't have to do, and then we thought we had to do it, then we didn't think we had to do it. Now it looks like we have to do it, so just to be safe, we're gonna do it. So I have to go in and do some reporting tomorrow on this stuff, but she's gonna continue with that. She thought she'd have it done maybe in the next couple of weeks. But that's just extra thing because we're spending federal dollars. And the EPA was all by itself, and it was under the $1 million threshold. This, we're way over the $1 million threshold with the other money. It triggers these things. Once it's done, it'll never be an issue again.
Thanks, Dave.
I need a motion that's what you want to do for the audit report, because that has to go to them if that's what you want to do. So to approve you have to adopt the audit as always, if you want to, and then the audit letter. Those are both separate votes. So up to you.
Any other questions on the audit report? Comments or anything? It looks pretty much, to me, it looks basically the same as every other year.
Your actual packet for each of you will be here sometime. I don't know when it's gonna be here. I ordered one for each of you like always.
Yeah.
So you'll have your own copy. You have the digital copy now, which would be great, but she does the spine copy.
I would entertain a motion to approve the 24-25 audit report.
I'll second.
Okay, so Tammy has made a motion to approve the 24-25 audit report. Berlin seconded. Tammy, your vote?
Yes.
Berlin, your vote?
Yes.
Richard, your vote? Maria, your vote?
Yes.
Janie?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Now we're on to the the letter that Dave sends to the state regarding the deficiency. Just like he's done every year.
Well, I can make a motion to approve, the 24-25 state audits division letter.
Okay, Berlin made a motion to approve the 24-25 state audits division letter, Richard seconded. Janie, your vote? Maria?
Yes.
Annie?
Yeah.
Richard? Berlin?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. Set that up. And I have no report tonight other than the financials, which you guys should have up there
And
somewhere.
the financials have made it around, I don't think they've made it to this. Okay, then. To public comment. This time you can comment on anything that you wish. Please keep your comments to under 5 minutes. Yes. Okay, next.
Nina Bather, 33229 Marble Street, Echo. Okay, I would like to ask that an independent attorney review the grant and the related agreements to make sure that City of Echo's interests are fully protected. My concerns include the potential of a $500,000 clawback if all conditions aren't met, and whether any of these obligations could make the city appear riskier on paper when it comes to the future borrowing we may need for essential services. Echo's development code generally places these financial and performance responsibilities on the developer, and I want to make sure the city is not taking on risks that aren't ours to carry. That's all.
Thank you, Gina. Okay, anybody else? Mr. Dudley?
Yes, Duffy, but just a kid. I want to talk about, I'm gonna start a timer here, so.
Okay, I wasn't going to. but
No, I
You've
ain't.
been behaving yourselves. You know, you're right.
Well, I have to. You guys are just like on me constantly. Anyway.
I'll start the timer when you give your name and address.
Yeah, leave a written copy.
Okay.
Mike Duffy, box 127 Echo. I'd like to speak for a moment about land use, generally speaking. We've been through a lot. I say we, not just the 7 of you volunteers who have been so dedicated. Well, while I was away at the lookout this summer, I was watching sometimes in frustration, and other times not, and I gave way too much thought to this whole thing. I don't know why, I just couldn't shake it. I ended up writing a little piece, which ended up getting published in the Lookout newsletter. They only have a circulation of 1,500, but it got published, and I felt pretty good. Talks about land use from the perspective of a person sitting on a hilltop for 3 months. I'm pretty sure it was Jess, and I didn't hear where Jess is this evening.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I think it was Jess a couple times, and maybe even Janie, who brought up the land use, let's call it land use issues, that our tribal neighbors have had for a couple hundred years now. Right? It's kind of tough. Notice some of the same arguments they had were some of the same arguments they got here, and they went over and over and over. When Lewis and Clark came through, they didn't understand that perspective at all. Didn't care. Their job was to get all the bands and tribes to aspire to the great white father's ambitions. And they weren't real religious people, but understand they were Masons. They believe in a higher spiritual order and so forth. I'm sure they drew on that a lot. As did their boss. President Jefferson, he was a deity person. And his idea was God gives it to us to do whatever we want to with it. Mormons call it free agency. Well, what he wanted was everything from the Mississippi to the Pacific coast. That's my idea of land use. And then for us, of course, each of us has our name on a deed, and we have absolutely every right to do whatever we want to with that property, as long as we pay our taxes and obey the law. In my case, I share it with my wife. If I don't tick her off too bad, I get to have half. So what is it really? Whether you're talking about the Great Spirit, or God the Father, or deity, or a supreme being, I think that that authority, which seems to empower us so genuinely and so deeply, has been playing with us a little. It's not about rights. It's an opportunity. At some point, we're going to have to cooperate. I have to cooperate with the landlords. I have to cooperate with the city. I have to cooperate with the businesses. I have to cooperate with Phyllis. We have to cooperate. We have to all cooperate to be in this space right now. To some degree. It's not about rights. And we're not getting even a C- on our performance in this regard either. I'll yield back by 20 seconds. Thank you again for your service.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, any other public comments? Yes.
Good evening again. I wanted to let the council know, based off, I think it was a couple meetings ago, someone from the audience had mentioned potential conflict of interest with one of our council members. And today, council member Tammy Williams had, spoke on that. And back in September, I had a discussion with one of our council members about some concerns that I had about, conflicts of interest as well. And I did reach out to the ethics committee and talk to them at length about my concerns. And so I just full transparency. I had submitted a conflict of interest in regards to a council member, working for a company that owns land within city limits that could be affected by their decision. And based off of the information that I gathered from the ethics committee, that said that it would be warranted to submit something. And so I'm just being transparent and not trying to hide anything, that I did file one in regards to Councilwoman Berlin Anderson, in regards to, she works for a company that owns land within city limits that could be affected by a decision from like all this land use stuff that we're going. So I just wanted to be just transparent and honest that that was submitted. So the council is aware of that. And that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy. Public comments. Okay, you're up. All right. All in favor? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming tonight.